Good morning, everyone. Let's call this video how to get infinite returns because drawing. All right, back to it. Good morning, everyone. So I'm reading Robert Kiyosaki's new book. It's called Fake. It's Fake Money, Fake Teachers, Fake Assets, How Lies Are Making the Poor and Middle Class Poorer. Robert Kiyosaki is the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He's got 2 books with President Donald Trump. He's got a bunch of great personal finance books out there. Definitely would recommend reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad if you haven't done that before. One of the things that he talks about that I have on my main whiteboard right now is how can you get infinite returns? How can you receive infinite returns on investment? So the example that he talks about in the book is he bought a 100% financed, I believe it was like a $20,000 condo in Hawaii at the time, in like the 80s or something. But it was completely financed. He needed X percentage down. Let's say he needed 3,000 down. As always, thank you so much for watching the video. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel yet, would really appreciate if you do. That's the cost of this video, I guess, because I'm making it for free. But that really helps the algorithm so more people can see this. And the bank was going to give him the other 17. And with this, he was making $25 a month free cash flow. Now, back then and even today, obviously, like $25 a month isn't doing anything for you. It's an extra $300 a year. The purpose of it, though, is that it's free money. As long as the management's in place, whether it's a real estate investment, a dividend-paying investment, whatever the investment may be, giving it to a manager to run the fund for you, that's paying you in some type of cash flowing investment, that free cash flow is you're no longer buying with time, you're buying with dollars. And in his case, it was completely financed. $3,000 was on a credit card, $17,000 was on a loan from the bank. And I'm not necessarily recommending like taking out credit card debt at 17 to 30% to do this, but depending on the cash flow that it can provide, especially let's say you look at an investment where the credit card rate, let's say worst case scenario, you have no credit, you have no clue what you're doing, but you know enough about an investment that you'll make money on it. A lot of credit cards have the incentive where the first year or the first 21 or 15 months is 0% APR. And the other incentive on top of that is the initial bonus that you get when you sign up. So the same premise, using nothing, creating money out of thin air, which is what the banks do, which is what the wealthy people do. Let's say you sign up for a card. That one gives you a $200 bonus for sign up. And if it's a business card, it might be a $500 bonus for sign up. So this $200 just for signing up, plus it'll give you a $10,000 line, and let's call it 0% interest for 21 months. And let's call it a 10% annual return on this. So what's this going to look like? One, this isn't costing you any cash to do. Obviously, if you take out the whole entire amount on a $10,000 line of a credit, especially on a credit card, that's going to completely trash your credit. So we don't want to do that. I'm just saying short term, this is an option just to get you thinking about things that you might be able to do. So starting with the $200, if we don't touch that, not including taxes, this can turn into, at 10%, $20 a year for life. It's nothing, but it's coming from nothing. Turning $0 and just your credit history into $20 a year forever, that's kind of cool. Like that's what I did to buy the car that I bought recently. I don't pay a dime out of earned labor for that. So that's the idea there. How many ways can you create income from infinite returns, whether it's a business generating it or an investment generating it, that you don't have to physically, kind of like we talked about in the video yesterday with the leverage, that you don't have to physically be there, so you can leverage either credit or other people or the business or the investment itself to do the work for you, which is way smarter. But it takes the knowledge to do it, as well as the action. So now we do a compounding interest calculator on this for the $200 at 10% interest for 50 years at 10%. And obviously, this is an awful rate. Like the final future value number is $23,478, which is pennies, which is nothing. But the point is that if you scale this enough, this is turning $0 into $23,000 in 50 years. 100%, you should be looking for a way better return than the 10%, because if you have a business, you could put this $20 a year into ads and maybe you'll get a 10 to 1 return. So instead of, and there's more risk in that business, so you have to know enough about that. but there's way better ways to get a better return than that 10% by taking the risk of starting a business. So this is more so just an extremely passive bare minimum type thing. The other part is, let's call the 21 months, so a year and 3 quarters, the same $10,000. Let's look at the 10% on the 10K over 1.75 years. Let's call this $1,800. So now we have our $200 that's getting us at the end of year 1, let's call it at the end of year 2. We have our $240 up here, plus or minus $2. So let's say $244. We'll start a new page. So the $200 here has turned into $242 after 2 years of doing nothing, because it's just getting the 10% return, plus the $10,000 that we used at 0% interest rate. When the time comes up, we have to pay off the bill. It's created $1,800 of free money just by the return. Hypothetical numbers. This is at 10%, which I think you can get a way better return when you're dealing with anything less than a mil, let's say, because you can just put things back into the business, the dollars. So now we got the $2,042. So when we put it into the compounding interest calculator, 2,242. Never touch this money again, but we're going to give it 50 years to grow at 10%. Now this turns into nearly $250,000. So this is all hypothetical math, but I'm just purely making this to show you the power of, like, when he explained it in the book, I was thinking, okay, well, how am I doing this with the businesses? So putting it towards ads that I know I'll make a 14 to 1 or a 10 to 1 return on. And it's a lot easier to do with small numbers like this. The top half of the screen does not cost you a penny, other than the time that you have to allocate to learn the knowledge to make good investments with this. Because by no means should you take out a credit card, run up a $10,000 limit on that, invest that if you have no clue what the heck you're doing, and shit on your credit, and then the market tanks, and a year and 1.75 years from now, the market's in a complete disaster, and you have to pay that off, or you have to start paying 30%, because then you're completely screwing yourself, and that's not making money. That's losing money. And we don't want to do that, because rule number 1 is never lose money. Rule number 2, refer back to rule number 1. But the entire point of this video is, how can you start thinking of ways to get an infinite return? We took $0 here in this hypothetical example, and in 50 years turned it into $250,000 of nothing. We went from 0 to a quarter without using a single dollar we had to earn. How can we do that? There's my leading question for you. As always, thank you so much for watching the video. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel yet, I would really appreciate if you do. That's the cost of this video, I guess, because I'm making it for free. But that really helps the algorithm so more people can see this. If you start thinking this way, it really forces you to, like, how can money work for you versus you having to work for money? And that's one of the best ways to build wealth. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.